everybody to the race to 5 rental properties. It's a sprint, not a marathon. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you just giving us an opportunity to kind of give you a feel for what this group is going to be all about. And we are looking for action takers. It's that simple. Okay. So if you're not willing to take action and you're just kind of scanning through, this may not be the group for you, but this can change your life. Okay. So the reason that we called it the race to 5 rental properties, I'm going to get into in just a second because it's so important. I didn't just pull that number out of thin air. Okay. So my name is Clark. Thank you for having me. You can see right here, this is a picture of me and my girlfriend. We're in Panama City, Panama. We were there about 3 or 4 weeks ago. My why is traveling, okay? And I love to travel internationally. I've probably been to 20 plus countries around the world, and I will continue to do so more. And I can do all of that because I've been investing in real estate since I was in college, or since I was just out of college. And slowly, consistently, I've been buying. I'm 40 years old right now, and it's enabled me now, 18 years later, to be able to really have more freedom to do things that I would like to do. And it continues to grow while I'm making this video right now. Okay. So here's our mission statement. The mission statement is to wake up every single day and say no to the things that you don't want to do. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, a lot of people probably say that they want to be able to just sit on the beach, drink a Mai Tai, drink a pina colada, not have to worry. And I've done some of those things. And kind of what I've found out is, and I think that a lot of entrepreneurs will share this kind of viewpoint, is after you drink that first Mai Tai, you're sitting on the beach, you get bored. And you're looking around and you're like looking at opportunities. And my hypothesis, my thinking is that I just want to be able to say no to the things I don't want to do. I still like working. I enjoy what I do. I love real estate so much, and it's very empowering, okay, because it gives me my time back. But it's not free. It takes time. It takes delayed gratification, okay? So why 5 rental properties, okay? Why the race to 5? Why is it a sprint, not a marathon, okay? So in real estate investing, it is very much a marathon, not a sprint, okay? And when you look at it as a whole, all right? So you have to do real estate investing just like you do anything else that you want to have good habits, right? So if you want to get in better shape, right? You don't just go to the gym for a week and then just stop going and say, well, I'm good to go. I went for a week. I don't need to work out anymore. Real estate investing is no different. You need to be consistently investing your entire life. It's habitual. It's a habit if you want to be successful, if you want to be able to use it to change your life, okay? I found this article right here and it almost blew my mind, okay? So I'm going to quickly go over to it as to why I say the race, the sprint to 5 properties. Most landlords are individuals who just own a few units. So you can see individual investors, 14.1 million landlords own between 1 to 4 units, okay? Now, as you can see, the drop off to 5 to 24 units, it's like falls off a cliff. It's like 1% or 2% between 5 units to, let's say 100 units, right? Why is that? Why is that? Well, 1 to 4 units, I can tell you a couple things. Number one is that it's not going to change your life in any kind of significant manner, okay? So I want to give you an example. I like stories. I feel like stories do a good job of kind of telling the tale. Let's say you're 100 pounds overweight, okay? And you say, okay, I want to get in better shape. I want to eat healthier. I want to go to the gym. Whatever it is, I want to do it for my kids. Whatever your why is as to why you want to get in better shape. Let's say you've got 100 pounds to lose and you lose 10 or you lose 15 pounds, right? That's great. 10 pounds is wonderful. It's better than not losing any more. It's better than gaining 10 pounds, right? But it's not going to make any significant change in your health, in the way you look, in the way your clothes fit, in the way society perceives you, right? Most people, let's say you're 300 pounds and now you're 290, you're not going to have a bunch of people come up to you and say, wow, Clark, you look amazing. I can tell such a difference, right? And that is kind of what 1 to 4 units is in the real estate world, right? Yeah, you may have 2 or 3 units. Maybe you've got 100 or 2 or 300K in equity. Maybe you make $500 to $1,000 a month in cash flow, but that's not going to make any meaningful changes in your life. You're not going to be able to quit your 9 to 5. You're still, if you're not happy in your job, you're still going to be coming home and, waiting. I can't wait. It's 5 o'clock somewhere kind of mentality and dreading that Monday morning drive into work, right? However, when you get to that 5 point, okay, there starts to be some momentum. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my health analogy. Getting to 5 units is kind of like getting to like 30 or 35 pounds lost. Okay. Once you lose 30 or 35 pounds, right? You notice maybe it's a little bit easier to get up the stairs. Maybe you're not as winded. Maybe people around you are like, hey, Clark, you look really good. What are you doing? I need to do what you're doing, right? Maybe you're able to wear that shirt or those pants that you haven't worn in 10 years because you didn't feel comfortable in it. And now you can put that on and feel better. Maybe you go to the gym after losing 30 or 35 pounds and you're not as intimidated by all the people there. And guess what happens? Going from 35 pounds to 50 pounds loss is you still have to do the work. You still have to lose, you still have to eat well. You still have to be consistent with your diet, but it's easier because there's more momentum. It's easier for me to stay at the gym longer when someone pays me a compliment. It's just that simple. It's easier when I feel more confident in my skin that I look better in my clothes, right? This is the same thing. And this is why I have to get you watching this to 5 properties because it makes it easier to get to the 6th property. I will go out and say that it's easier to go from 5 properties owned to 20 than it is to go from 0 to 2. And I feel very strongly about that once you get to 5, it's easier to buy a duplex or a triplex. Then you're at 8. Then you buy a quadplex, you're at 12. It's just that much easier because you are more confident in yourself. You have more lenders available to you. You have a better resume to show to the lenders. You have your property managers. You've made mistakes, right? You've made mistakes. You've fallen. You've skinned your knee, and now you get to the 5th one, and you're like, I've read this chapter before this book. I shouldn't buy this deal, or I should because it's very similar to the second house I bought, which has done really well. Okay, so here's the problem, right? Now, I dug this picture out of Facebook. This is in 2011. This is a post from 2011. I'm actually holding up the number 5, which was my 5th property. And I will tell you that the first few properties I bought, I had no idea how to read an inspection report. I had no idea which questions to ask the realtor. I was probably too shy to ask the realtor because I didn't want to look like a dummy. Okay. I had my parents come in. I tried to have them help me with the first couple. I didn't know how to get it managed. How much do they charge? How much should I pay? How much should I renovate, right? All these questions are going through my head for the first couple. I remember at this point in 2011, when I bought this, look, I look pretty damn happy right there. There's my dad in the background. And I can remember something is that I walked into this property, I saw it, I identified it, I put an offer like a day later, and I got it accepted and bought it like 30 days later. I handed it to my property management company I'd already been using now for the last 2 properties. They told me what I needed to fix, just a couple $1,000s in carpet and paint. They knew how much it would rent for. They were already had it on the market by the time. And it was so low anxiety. Okay. And guess what? At that point, I spent, a couple hours of my life working on that property. I gave it to the property manager, and then I just moved on with my day. And it was so low stress. Why was it low stress? Not because the physical house was a stress, but because I had already gotten to that point of those 3 or 4 or 5 that I had been making some mistakes on, and I rinsed and repeat and I learned. Okay. So you're watching this probably for a reason. You're on here because you're trying to better something in your life. So if you are listening to this and you are facing some challenges, so let's just go over them. You may be living paycheck to paycheck. Now, that doesn't mean you're working at McDonald's or you're a doctor, because doctors live paycheck to paycheck, and so does the burger flipper. Okay. But you feel like that you can't get ahead. If you got hit, I would say if you got hit by a bus, if you got hit by a bus today, right, and you have to rely on your savings, your retirement, does that make you worry? Okay. Do you have other things that are creating income while you're sitting in the hospital bed? Okay. Are you in a job where you've been there for a while and you're starting to look in your rearview mirror? You're starting to see them maybe bring in people that are younger, hungrier. They'll take less money than you are, and maybe you're getting pushed out. Maybe they know more about, AI, and they're more tech savvy and they're more social media savvy. And you're starting to look over your shoulder, be like, what the hell is going on over there? And your time may be limited, right? It's a shot clock and it's ticking and you hear it louder. Maybe you have investments, you're in the stock market, you're in crypto, You don't control any of that stuff, guys. I can't control if crypto or Bitcoin goes up or down or left or right. I can't control the S&P. Maybe your lack of financial education, right? The public school system does a terrible job about teaching you how to be fiscally responsible, right? And so that's one of the big things about this group is teaching you how to be fiscally responsible. Maybe it's just FOMO. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm tired of working my ass off and watching some guy put money in an investment and it doubles in a year, right? And also too, you probably have time constraints, right? Maybe you're working so much at your 9 to 5 that you don't have enough time to even think about investing in real estate or investing in whatever you want to have as a side hustle, drop shipping, whatever it may be. And also too, it's just inflation. It hits us all, right? Inflation, cost of eggs, cost of groceries, cost of gas, whatever it may be. It's just getting more and more expensive. I don't see it changing anytime soon. We're well past COVID now, and it seems like things have not come back to the way they used to be. So if you are facing any one of these challenges, let's see how we can fix them, okay? So, solution. Here are me and my partner right there. That's David. You'll be seeing him as well on a lot of these tutorials and Zoom calls and things like that. David has come up with an algorithm. It's called Debt by Time by Scale. Okay. And it's an amazing algorithm. It's like a wealth algorithm to be able to help you participate in the upside so you're not fighting the tide. Okay. What the hell does that mean? Well, as things go up with inflation, right? If your salary, if your pay that you're getting is not keeping up, right? You're kind of fighting the tide. You either have to work longer, you have to work harder, you have to cut your expenses, you have to do some sort of sacrifice, okay? However, if you kind of take a lot of the lessons and tools that we're going to give to you in this, your boat, as the tide rises, your boat is going to rise with it, okay? And it's actually going to benefit. Whereas right now the tide might be rising and your boat is drowning or it's got holes in it and it's leaking water, right? This is all an attempt to be able to regain control of how you spend your time. I don't want you to have more time. I want you to be able to choose how you spend your time. It's that simple, okay? So what are some services that are going to be part of this group that you're going to get? We just want to identify a few low-hanging fruit. I want to KISS it. And if you've ever heard the acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid, okay? KISS it. We want to give quick and actionable videos to where you can quickly go out, make offers on properties to be able to start your wealth creation journey. Okay. So here's just a few examples. If you are going to a realtor, right? A lot of times if you're watching this, say, okay, I'm going to take the step. I'm going to go look at Zillow. I'm going to talk to realtors. I'm going to talk to wholesalers. And you say, Mr. or Mrs. Realtor, I want an asset that's going to cash flow. Okay. It's that simple. I've got 50 grand to put down on a property. Okay. If you go to that realtor and you say, I've got this much money and the current interest rates are whatever they are, 7-8%. How can I cash flow? How much money am I going to make? 10 out of 10 times you're going to hear silence. You're going to hear crickets. Okay. So we're going to fix that very quickly. We're going to give you a step-by-step process and a calculator to where you can plug in whatever market you're in. I don't care if you're in Florida or Hawaii or anything in between. You're going to be able to plug into your market of 5 things, and you're going to be able to tell exactly how much money, how much cash flow you are going to make, or in a lot of instances, not make. But then that enables you to trigger what your offer needs to be, right? So if they're asking 300,000 and you're going to lose $226 a month, okay, then it's going to be able to quickly say, okay, well, what if I offer 260,000? Well, then I lose $28 a month. Okay, I don't want to lose $28 a month. Maybe I need to offer 240, and then it'll show that you make 126. You're like, okay, I'm cool, 240. That's the offer, right? And then also too, we're going to talk about how to make that offer. And then we're going to do another video on like best practices once you own the property as to how you should renovate it. We don't want you to over renovate it. We don't want you to under renovate it. Okay. So we're going to go into that. That's just a few examples. So what's included? What are the meat and potatoes and all this? Why the hell should you join this thing? There's a gazillion real estate groups out there on SKOOL. And I'm sure by the time this video, you watch this, there's probably a bazillion plus 20, right? So we're going to have good focused tutorial videos. Okay. Every person will get one 15-minute onboarding call You can pick our brain. You can talk to us a little about what you're looking to accomplish. You've got a fire hose, right? Maybe you're not sure where to point it. We can kind of help you as to where we think you should point it. We've been doing this a long time. Between me and my partner, we have almost 40 years of real estate investing experience. So we've made all the mistakes. Okay, we've done a lot of good things well, and we've done a lot of mistakes too. So I would like to pass on that experience so you don't have to experience those same downside. We're going to give you access to investment properties. So we're always out finding deals in our area. So if you have any interest in Tampa and St. Pete in Florida, you'll have access to deals. You'll have access where I'm working right now with a developer in Panama. So if you have any interest in investing abroad, it's one of my passions is traveling. So I'm certainly always on the look for international properties and beautiful places with beautiful beaches and low cost of living. And I could go on and on about that. The biggest thing, probably the most important thing, is my goal is to create this community with a lot of action takers and people that are willing to take the risk and of their time to be able to go out and make it happen. Okay. I know I've been a part of 3 or 4 masterminds in my life. I can't tell you one thing that I remember from like a breakout session or a PowerPoint slide, but all the people I met along the way, those are the people I keep in touch with that have helped me on my journey. That's the most important thing. So I can give you all the tools, I can give you all the videos you want, but ultimately those connections that you make with people inside the group are probably going to be the most beneficial. It's what I've seen in my past experiences. We're also going to do a 1 hour a week, kind of pick our brain, timely topics, Q&A. We'll review deals together, and you're going to have an access to our Rolodex of, lenders, inspectors, insurance brokers, our network, right? So that's all included in it. And as a member, okay, and again, this is free. This is completely free. So you'll have access to the community. You're gonna have $5,000 worth of training modules. So we actually looked around and figured out how much does this stuff cost if you were to pay for it, right? And between the videos we're putting together, you're gonna have about $5,000 for free. And we're always gonna be adding to it, right? Especially as you bring us challenges, questions, it's gonna force us to create new videos to be able to attack those challenges head on. Look, guys, we have almost $15 million worth of assets under management. One of my big fears about doing something like this is that there's so many people out there coaching, right? And they don't have the experience. They haven't done it themselves, right? They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. I feel very strongly that over the last probably 20 plus years that we've done a lot of walking, a lot of failing forward, a lot of learning, and becoming more and more successful with that. So you'll get the weekly real estate virtual happy hours. I think it's informal, guys. This is not some suit and tie formal thing. This is a very loose, I want you to be free. I want you to be able to ask lots of questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question, okay? You'll get first look at our investment opportunities, our Rolodex, our free one-on-one call. And this is something new, is we're starting a debt fund, okay? So we want to be able to provide capital. So if you've got a deal that makes sense, if you've got maybe a business startup that you need capital for, we will look at that deal to see if it makes sense for us to be able to lend you money to be able to get those deals under your belt, okay? So that's a cool thing. How does it work, guys? Step 1, show up and engage consistently, okay? If you don't show up, right? If you don't get out of bed and put your shoes on and lace up and put the boxing gloves on and get in the ring, it's not going to happen, right? And you need to engage consistently, engage with members in the community, engage on the community board, right? Ask questions, be the dumbest person in the room, okay? When you're the dumbest person in the room, people want to help you. So there are no dumb questions, but you have to show up. You need to come to like the virtual happy hours, ask questions, be curious. It's that simple. If you're curious, it forces you to ask questions, step outside of your comfort zone and engage consistently, guys. This is not a crash diet. Don't come for 2 weeks and show up and then you're done, right? You have to keep showing up. Step 2, okay, is you have to implement those tools and take action. You can come to all the happy hours you want. You can be the YouTube king or queen of the world, but if you're not taking any of it and putting it into your actual life, you're almost wasting time because at that point you could be doing something else with your time. So there's analysis paralysis, and I see so many people stuck in step 2 where they do step 1 really well. They get all the points. They'll be on SKOOL and they'll have lots of points next to their name, but they don't translate it to their actual real life. You need to implement it. And step 3, okay, is you're going to fail. Fail forward, fail fast. You got to get your ass up, dust yourself off, and repeat, okay? The sooner you fail, the sooner you make mistakes, the more you're going to learn from those mistakes, the easier it's going to be the next time to go there and be a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, okay? You're going to have all the community behind you, and you're going to be able to ask us questions. We're going to be able to help you get past those mental, those psychological bullets to be able to start succeeding, right? But it all starts with step 1. And if you don't do all 3 steps, then it's kind of just a waste of time. So why now, guys? The real estate market is expensive. Interest rates are high. It's risky. You hear about it in the news. Here's why now and why not tomorrow, okay? It's kind of like there's always an excuse to do something tomorrow. There's always an excuse to have diet starts tomorrow. I have a vacation I'm going to go on. I'll go to the gym in 2 weeks, right? I'll save up money to get that meal prep, to get healthy food next week, the next week. Here's an exact reason. I went back to a similar time period to right now, where the media was not bullish on real estate. It's risky. There's foreclosures everywhere. 2010, the median price was 221,000. The average rent was just over $1,000. Okay. Now, if you bought in that risky time period where no one else wanted to buy, now, if you own that same house or 5 houses or 10 houses, the median price of that house is now worth $384,000. That same house is going to rent for $1,000 additional over what it did 14 years ago. Okay. That's just straight statistics that I found. Now, is this actually the case? So I was like, let me go find a house that I bought in 2010 and let's see if those match up. Okay. So here's a house that I bought in Destin, Florida. The last day of the year in 2009. I bought it for $117,000. I bought it. Go look in Destin right now and see what you can buy for $117,000, right? You wouldn't be able to buy a dog house, okay? Now, this came straight off the MLS. It wasn't some secret deal. And I think they were asking like 120,000. They weren't asking 200, and I negotiated them down. I literally paid basically full price. I put down a whopping $7,000. I lived in it for 2 or 3 years. I always recommend when you get started to buy your first house and move into it. You'll get the best interest rates. You'll get the best deal. It'll be the easiest process to buy. I moved out. It looks like in 2014, I was the first time I rented it. I gave it to a property management company. They put $1,200. Now let's get into our time machine. Go to present time today. It's now worth about $330,000, so almost 3 times as much. It currently rents for $1,850. Okay. So, excuse me. This is powerful. I haven't been in this house in like 7 or 8 years, guys. So this is powerful because can you imagine? I put $7,000 down. I have $7,000 into it, and it's created, I think I owe like $70,000 on it, plus or minus. So I've got maybe $250,000 in equity. I make my mortgage payments $1,100, give or take. So I make probably $500 or $600 a month. $600 a month times 12, that's $7,200 in a year. Every year, it's just going to continue to go up on $7,000. Where are you going to get those kind of returns anywhere else? So who are we? You obviously you've been hearing me, David Shaw, my partner. You're going to be seeing him pop up a lot. Sheena Berry is who makes all this work behind the scenes. That is who we are. Okay. So here's what I recommend. You can see our contact information there. Burn Your Boats Wealth. We actually have a podcast called Burn Your Boats. We do an episode every Monday. Okay. Go to Burn Your Boats Wealth, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever your flavor of the month is. You can find us, email us. But the easiest thing you do right now, guys, is just go be a member, go join, start taking advantage, engage, find other like-minded individuals, and take action. It's that simple, guys. So with that, I hope this has been beneficial. We want doers. We want doers. We want people in this group that are going to take action, that are going to make mistakes. They're going to learn from your mistakes. You're going to share those experiences with the group. Ultimately, that is what's going to grow everyone together. So we look forward to it. Thank you so much.